Choosing Fuecoco when it's a crocodile instead of Quaxley birds and birds are dinosaurs. You would already
birds are dinosaurs if you didn't know.
I don't know if he knows this, but in modern science, all living birds are scientifically classified as dinosaurs.
Smiley face.
Okay, let's just stop for a second. That's this video right here. I wanted to make a separate video playing Pokemon Sword and Shield with a team of only birds. And to make this harder, slap on a couple of extra rules to make this more interesting. So yeah, the birdies will get their chance and I will become a proud member of Team Sky. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I have one favor to ask. Yeah, graphs are honestly silly and honestly cringe, but if you guys enjoy what you see, then hit the subscribe button. Oh, and also ding on the notification bell. YouTube people are happy. You lot are happy. Well, I just get to make very stupid videos. With that said, let's fly in. Get it? Fly in? Okay, I'll stop. So the adventure starts with a sheep in our face, which isn't a bird, I know. And we also see a lizard with wings. Shock horror, he's not a bird, but Leon is up there as the strongest trainer of them all. The commander of the sport, but as he sees potential in me, and by me, his brother, we get introduced to a monkey, a furry, and another lizard. But it's not got wings, and as you can tell, well, none of them are birds. However, I have a plan to change that, and that is to simply progress through the story, get murdered in the slumbering well by a hunting dog, Leon goes in a strop, and it would be better if I had a bird.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I didn't really help there, but one person who has really been helping me with these challenges is my good friend Scarlet Fairy. I get a lot of comments asking her how I get certain Pokemon, and she is the reason why these videos have been a possibility. So I'll have to go through a little bit more story and, well, hello there, you beauty.
Not sure I deserve that.
Before my friend does help, once I get to the Pokemon Center and grab some Pokemon balls, I can grab my first Pokemon. This being this blue bird, well, called Blue. And he was able to single-handedly take care of the trainers of the second route, taking all of the Squovet's berries and this guy's little bugs for my birdie's breakfast. And from there, it's smooth sailing up to the professor's house. Hop and Leon squabbling about another battle to enter the gym challenge. But there's one problem. It's a 3v1, and boy, I'm not looking forward to it. However, with Wooloo, I'm able to set up with a couple of Hone Claws, boosting my attack stat as tackles aren't doing too much damage, until it goes for growls. Despite this, we take him down, and I set up one more time on Sobble before I take a rather strong Water Gun. But I am now set to absolutely destroy his team with a Power Trip. Yeah, his lizard gets wiped and his bird flies to the moon and doesn't come back. That is a strong victory for Team Birds. Anyways, what I was saying before is now that I've found a Wishing Star and got my Dynamax band, I'm now able to grab online services, so I trade away my Grass Monkey for the ultimate Grass Owl, Rowlet. Thanks to my amazing friend and moderator. He's called Nigel, and there is for once a nickname theme for this video, so have a cheeky guess, and if you get it right, then I'll give you a cookie. Once I'm met back with Hop at the station, I send him my results for the catching challenge. Not one! Mate, I literally received it now like 2 seconds ago. How does that not count? I'd rather not argue, mainly because I haven't got the brains nor the patience because I want to take flight. So I hop on the train, get interrupted due to natural wildlife, which allows me to spread my wings and increase my team once again. I'm not using you. I'm sorry, but if you like this pigeon, 1, you're weird, and 2, there are other interesting Pokemon to choose from. Starting from this in our first max raid den, a Natu. I've never actually used this Pokemon, so it'll be interesting. And now with Tiny on the team, I head onwards and arrive into the industrious city called Motorstoke. This is where the gym challenge opening ceremony will take place, grabbing my uniform and a uniform number 350. And from the UK, we use an A350 to the destination that I will not mention as it will reveal the team name. There's a clue right there. But for now, I check in the local button in for the night, or at least I try to, because I get involved with the local British chav gangs and want to battle me. So, yeah. Down there, little rats go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I wish it was that easy to beat up gang members in the UK who want to rob literally everyone. But we move. The next morning, I arrived back at the stadium for the opening ceremony, and stepping out with the gym leaders in front of millions of people seemed pretty cool. But let's take flight and take on our first challenge, and that is the menacing, scary hop. And I give my new owl a little bit of screen time for... Oh, well that was easy. In fact, in terms of trainer battles all the way up to turf field, they were pretty much all straightforward. None of my Pokemon really breaking a sweat. And whilst I'm doing this, there are a ton of bird Pokemon to really choose in the Galar region. So let me know what birdie is your favorite. Mine has to be, without a doubt, Galarian Articuno. It just looks so cool. Also, I'm a bit biased because purple is my favorite color. Yep, we move. Anywho, once we get through the cave, Nigel evolves to Dartrix. Coming this way, I devise against it. Oh yeah, this guy is Bede, and despite the attitude, he's all show and, well, no go. Because I let Blue set up a home clause before absolutely sweeping through his psychic team. To then fall to a baby doll. I think that's what it is, I really don't know. However, despite the tragic setback, Nigel was able to come out and show him who was boss. I loved using Rowlet's line in Ultra Moon, and I'm so glad he's back. Bede gets off in the strop. God, the Brits are always in the mood, which technically includes me. But once we have the first town housing the gym challenge in sight, Blue evolves Corvisquire, which is again another pretty big upgrade. I actually felt unstoppable, so much so that I go straight for it and instantly get ran over by a sheep, by none other than the gym leader. Is he out there to spoil my run? Is he a cheat? Or is he the Doc Hunter? Although I'm feeling pretty confident to take on the gym leader basically straight away, and thankfully no crows are on his field. But this needs to be a 2v2, and seeing as I have 3, I will box our now only baby bird for the time being. Plus it was at the cap since we caught it in said raid. Milo the farmer starts with Gossifleur against Blue, and after setting up a couple of home claws and taking really weak rounds, it only takes a singular pluck to already have the upper foot. This leaves Eldegoss, the big brother of the two plants, and goes for its Dynamax. Whereas I don't and still hit hard, we take a critical stab quite well actually. And knowing I won't get it out on the second turn, and at this point it was like 12:30 at night, I was in my bed. I Dynamax my bird and airstream it out of the pitch. One badge down, chef's kiss. Before I head out, I managed to snag myself a nice little uniform and grab myself a couple of new accessories. And well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the customization done and dusted. From there, I make haste onto Route 4, beat up a couple of gangsters who just seen the Minecraft movie. Alongside Hop, who was easy peasy lemon squeezy, I find myself quickly arriving at our next destination, Holbury. I also ended up being in a mob of the mastermind himself, Prime Minister, and, well, a rather poor fashionist, Rose. Try to swoop the gym leader off her feet to the skies above, which we all know how that went.
Let me smash, please.
No, Ron.
So I think it's safe to say I should probably take on the gym. Nessa, as you know, specializes in water types, which is something that my owl is strong against. And I'm gonna use said only owl. Anyway, I keep getting shouted at in the comments to let's give Nessa a cheeky kiss. But come on, her eyes, smoking. Right, battle time. Goldeen against Nigel. Yeah, we get outsped, however, Razor Leaf pots the fishy in a sliver, and a second attack later pots it under the sea. Next was Aracuda, and I heal with Synthesis before he too falls thanks to a critical hit. All that remains is one big turtle. But I don't go for the Dynamax, don't outspeed, take Max Geyser, though this is an issue, as the rain is set, so once we get it down to half, I also hit the Dynamax, and go for a cheeky guard. Max Darkness puts us on overgrow range, so our stab obliterates the sea monster, and the second badge is ours. Though despite the win, a handshake is all I get. Absolute shambles, unacceptable, sweet niblets. Despite the all-out victory and feeding my birds the fish we decimated in the last gym at the restaurant, Hop meets us outside after the meal, giving us facts about the next gym. The fact he's training in the mines, and he's the all-out fire user, something I'm a tad nervous about. But before we even go on the hunt for our prey, I get hunted by Bede, and oh boy, that was a terrible mistake, because Blue went all out after setting up home claws and delivering huge power trips. basically destroying his entire squad. Mr. Pinky pretty much was a stinky and still has the desire to insult me. So as he goes off into strop, I take care of the dangerous miners out for battles, mainly for their use in rock types. But by the time I got to the Team Yell grunts, things went swimmingly. Although this is the part where I get to my first loss, and then I realize I am completely screwed. Nigel is afraid of fire, Tiny is, well, ponty, and whilst Blue is good, it's not going to be enough. I'm going to need some new encounters. So first and foremost, I evolve Tiny to Zartu, a little buff to help us keep going. Then meet up with Kabu, who is so impressed. He wants to challenge us in the morning. He probably just wants easy lunch money. There are 2 birds I'm after that will keep us going for quite a bit. So I hitch a ride down to the Isle of Armor, take care of a petty psychic type user, and this is where I can work my magic. I mean, definitely not because he's half the level we are, but what I mean is that I can go out on my hunt to find my 2 new squad members. First being a Psyduck. Yes, a duck is a bird. She's called Jewel, and a little while later, we find ourselves a fletchling called Pedro, and he also evolves to Fletchinder. Once my squad was all good to go, I headed into the nest for the night to get dragged in by Team Yell's nonsense and to battle Marnie. But surely puny fighting types have no match against my birds, right? Well, yeah, I was right. The frog gets pecked for supper, but the problem is her ace, Morpeko, which is the reason why I've been dreading this run. However, Pedro has flame body, so I attempt to grab the bird as it tries to bite, which to my luck doesn't happen. But thanks to the damage, Blue can tank a Thundershock well and go for the boosted Retaliate. From there, simple plucks give us the win. Sweet. The next morning, Hop already went to try his luck against the Fire Ace, and seeing as I somehow got through Marnie unscathed, I decided to catch up, and I have a tactic. I give our 2 new recruits a debut to the gym challenge, and as well as give Tiny some screen time, and work my way through the gym challenge. And whilst I do that, if you guys are new and are enjoying the video, then why not hit the subscribe button and become part of the community? It is free, and it means the world to me if you did, though you can change your mind at any time too. With that said, I'm ready to face off against the deadly gym leader. He finishes off most of people's runs, so let's give him hell. Ninetales is our first opponent and Pedro leads. Seeing as he can't Will-O-Wisp, I go for boosted acrobatics as I'm not using any held items. Petty quick attacks against huge acrobatic moves take out the fox. Arcanine is next and does intimidate, so I switch out to Tiny first and... No! Oh boy. I managed to get the Reflect in before making the sacrifice. Not good. I send out our Duck and go for the early Dynamax. He still goes for Bite as I set the Rain, then set the Burn, and that's important, because now we're still able to do just as much damage and take out the dog. This leaves the first Gigantamax opponent we see, Center Scorch, but with the Rain up and a high special defense stat, we're able to outlast this battle and have enough time to clear for the win. It's a scrappy fight, I won't lie, but hey, a win is a win, and every move served a purpose. With 3 badges down and a third of the region conquered, I get a smiling send-off from the elemental gym leaders, urgent to keep pushing forward, and that's exactly what I do despite Hop wanting otherwise. By the time I got to the big city Hammerlock, I hear the news that Hop actually lost the bead. I don't know how, he just isn't great, I guess. I also start hanging around with the grown-ups from being in restricted energy labs to historical monuments, and then back on the road, defeat some more Team Star Grunts, which I didn't have to break a sweat. Not much really went on, however, here is where we can grab another encounter. Whilst there are no birds to be seen, by the time I arrive at the next town, I can grab a couple of fossils at the Pokemon Center by specifically talking to this guy. But this guy doesn't have any bird fossils. So I head back to the wild area and speak to the digging duo and... Oh my god! There's no way I got it on my first try! After that, I can then speak to the professor researching the dig site, and just like the dinosaur run, I received a dinosaur bird. But this time, I got Dracozolt. We used Arctozolt last time, and I name him Nico. Yes, it counts. After all, I used a fossilized bird. From that point, I had to catch him up on the level cap, being only a level 10, and this took a while, but once we got a decent amount of EXP, we're good to go. With that big grind out of the way, I am ready for the next gym challenge. Well, I was. But Hop wanted to test me mainly to get his head straight. But his new bears, yeah, not great. But what really isn't great is getting paralyzed and missing Aquatail twice. When the snake goes on the ground, I send out Nigel for free and then finish off with Razor Leaf. Toxel comes out, so once again I switch to Nico on Flail for a whopping 2 points of damage and hit decent ancient powers, though without the stat boost. But with his baby lizard out, this leaves his emo lizard. God, he really likes lizards, doesn't he? Anywho, Water Pulse does physically nothing on Nigel, but it doesn't help we also miss Razor Leaf. However, we persevere, he goes down, and that's another win. Sorry Hop, but I'm going for Team Sky. When everything opens up, I grab the TM for Fly, which is something I'm probably going to be abusing. However, only Blue learns it, and I'm still under-leveled. But after some more grinding, I grab a couple of evolutions, starting with Jewel, who evolves to Golduck. Nigel evolves to the ultimate Decidueye, and that's another squad member without the flying type. And during the gym mission, we also grab ourselves our Fire Falcon, Talonflame. So with strong evolutions and our newest addition on the squad, I finally take on Alistair. Here we go. Yamask is up first against Jewel, and a super effective Aquatail gives us a nice and early lead. Mimikyu is next and is bulky, especially with the disguise, but after more Aquatails, he too falls. Cursula is again tanky, but with the weak armor defense drops, we just fall short. Hex eventually finishes us off. With the boosted speed, I let Pedro out to finish off the dead Coral, plus boost our own speed. This means we're ready for Gengar, who Gigantamaxes. I hold off a little bit, going for boosted acrobatics, which does about a quarter, but his G-Max Terra does a lot. This is okay, because thanks to the chip damage, he's in a bit of a pinch as we fall to max ooze. But I let Nico out next, take the darkness very well, and a bulldoze is enough to... Oh, I forgot about Hustle. Yeah, because of that crap ability, we go down, leaving only Nigel. I'm not risking the loss, and I Dynamax. Dodge the Hypnosis, and Max Phantasm gives us the lucky win. And we clutched that right at the end. But that's badge number 4, and we're halfway through the gym challenge. Nice. And the battling doesn't stop there, because after meeting up with the professor's granddaughter, which I promise her not to hit on, we find Mr. Pinky being also silly, knocking down walls because he's in a bit of a picky. But in a quick blinky, I let Blue run the floor that knocks him all silly. The chairman comes up also sickly, and just like that, expelled, banned, beaten up. It all happened so quickly, but if there's one thing I have to say, is that you, my friend, don't have a big win. Anyways, the wall comes crumbling down, revealing 2 dog statues, and I get told to get on my merry way, so I get lost and crawl through the magical forest, which is what we may have had during Shakespearean times, though not anymore. Regardless, I find my way out and arrived at Ballon Lee, home to the next gym leader, the Wizard and Overseer of Fairies. For this challenge, I'm supposed to audition for the role as gym leader, and unless it's to be a gym leader for flying types or overthrowing the leader of Team Sky, I ain't having none of that. And with that out the way, my Ghost Owl and my Dinosaur in the box, and Blue evolve into the Steel Ravenbird just in time for the battle, it's time to hit the ring. Galarian Weezing was against Jewel first, as Zen Headbutt hits hard and flinches. We also get the speed boost, though we already outspeed. 2 more Zen Headbutts take it down. Mawile comes out to intimidate, but then I can switch over to Pedro, eat the Crunch for breakfast, get the defense buff, Flame Charge for boosted speed, and on the next Crunch, Flame Body kicks in. It would have been nice the first Crunch, but that's okay. We'll outspeed to Togekiss with acrobatics, but a quad effective ancient power crit and wipes us out. So now with Blue out front, I again take the engine power and set my claws and complement Opal for a nice attack boost. So with that nicely set up, I go for the Dynamax. She gets the annoying ancient power boost, but it doesn't matter because a Steel Spike returns the pressure. She then bakes a huge cake, but after that erects, it's instantly splattered by my Steel Spike, giving us a fairly easy win. And even though I don't pass because I'm not a fairy user, nor like I would anyways, the fairy badge is ours. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm contemplating as I arrive back at Hammerlock, and I don't know what I'm more worried about. The next gym with its ice typing, or Opal literally assaulted a child. Man, this game is crazy. With Opal, I think she got arrested, but for the next gym, my moderator Scarlet Fairy comes to the rescue and gives us what I believe is going to be the final Pokemon for the run. That way, we won't have any issues with too many flying types, but also a good variety of Pokemon. Say hello to Raphael, although the name does not suit it at all. So now with our sword exclusive bird, I'm off to try and evolve it. This guy needs 3 critical hits in a battle without dying, but thanks to this Shuckle here resting, we were able to do just that. And he evolves to Surfetched, which is a huge powerhouse and honestly an asset for the next battle. With us back on track to the next gym challenge, and adults do adult things. Oh god, that sounds so wrong. I let them investigate some dangerous matters regarding the darkest day, whilst Hop and I plow on with our gym challenges, and it only makes sense to give Raphael a bit of a debut, who does well against the ghost tree, but leaves his big bear on a sliver before getting thwomped and squished. Did anyone order dock pancakes? That's too far, isn't it? So then I let Nico take over with a couple of hostile aerial aces. At least we can't miss. Bolton is next, so I attempt the bulldoze, to which we hit as he goes for raw, but with him slowed, Jules stays in for the Aqua Tail with Heatmore to follow. This leaves his newly evolved Inteleon, so I switched out to Nigel, take the Snipe Shot well as the Tearful Lock and the Sucker Punch, but 2 Razor Leaves were enough to give us the win. So with all the tools now at my disposal despite move poles, I head on through Route 8 through Castle Ruins and into the cold biomes to Sirchester, ready to take on probably the biggest risk in this challenge. I'm kinda glad we don't have the rock gym to deal with, but the same principle follows. This huge maze. It's my least favorite minigames, but with that minigame out the way, it's time to take on Melanie. Frostmoth is up first against Pedro, and a quad-effective Flame Charge gives us an early lead, and a gain on Darmanitan, despite the huge Icicle Crash, but again from there, we do some decent damage on the Penguin before the damage becomes too much, and the Hail regenerates the Ice Face, protecting her from a boosted Retaliate. Still, we take it out. This leaves Lapras, who Gigantamaxes, and to waste the Dynamax turns, I opt in to Fly. Sure, this won't hurt at all, but as long as we can stall out, which is exactly what happens when Blue rests its wings, Raphael is out when the Dynamax turns end, and a Break breaks the screen, putting the monster in a vulnerable position, until it goes for Sing. So I have to switch to Duel, take the Surf for breakfast, and another Brick Break seals the Loch Ness's fate, resulted in a win and badge number 6. Sweet! I'm starting to get a bit of a fan base as soon as I put my foot in to the cobblestone outside. Sonia's waiting for me. Our dinner date at Bob's Your Uncle, although there's one problem. Hop is also invited. I think there's something you're not telling me here, darling. So there could only be one winner, and with Hop's team becoming a lot stronger throughout our journey, they were still not on par with my feathered friends. Each one of them had a purpose in battle, but we came out on top, which means I get the date. I'm still with Leon, you know. Wait, what? Really? You have to be with that loser? Yeah? We're engaged. Right, that does it. Enough is enough. I'm tired of people rejecting my feathered friends. First Nessa, now Sonia. Who else wants to ruin my day? Oh, wait. Team Yell. Well, even though they run to their base, funnily enough, that's where we're headed to. But I can't fly in this blizzard, so my bike gets upgraded to ride amongst the current of the frozen ocean and arrive at the lockdown town, Spikemouth. Marnie helps us find a way in at the cost of battling her, so I do just that. Get very angry at the multiple flinches from Morpeko, but power on through, and comfortably get through the remnants of her team, and thus she allows me inside to help deal with this issue. For this, I bench Nigel and Jules for this one, and get through the grunts comfortably. Eventually getting to the end of the town where the mosh pit lies, and the gym leader waiting. Piers. For this fight, we can't Dynamax though, it is what it is, because I'm going to poop on his team for the heavens above. Scrafty comes out first to intimidate Raphael, so I hit the early switch to Pedro on Fake Out, then hit a boosted Acrobatics as the boosted Payback does a lot of damage. I finish off with a flame charge to boost my speed, and down he goes. Next was Malamar, and I do decent chip damage before falling. However, this gives Raphael the clear to go absolutely berserk. First impression is quite effective and gives us the revenge, then swords dance a couple of times until he obstructs, leaving his skunk, but with a boosted +4 attack, he only goes for toxic, whereas a brick break crits and takes out the stinky tank. That's what I'm talking about. Get on your knees and kiss my scaly feet. But as soon as I step foot outside the gym, I'm just hearing the ground shake and spot Leon going after it to being on the news like 30 seconds later. Seriously, AI be nicking news reporter jobs at some stage. By the time I get back to Hammerlock for the final gym, Sonia is all over Leon's cape, and as displeased as I am, there will become a point you will rest your wings, and that will be my doing. Mighty challenger of Team Sky. So with my goal in mind, I crack on battling the gyms in double battle form. The gym trainers all using weather effects to their disposal. So I study on the strategy and settle on my 4, Raphael, Jewel, Nigel, and Nico. Break and swipe does hurt, but I set up sword stances to get me going. Plus, Jewel knocks out the Flygon with Ice Beam. So with the 2 docks set, I'm ready. Sandaconda is next. Jewel aquatails the Sandaconda and Raphael takes down the rock. Both of these two are bulky, but with us set in stone, the House Gigantamaxes and targets Jewel. Plus, we take the Earth Power well, so we can quickly knock out the Duraludon. This means when Nigel comes out to play, a final Leaf Blade gives us an easy win, and we didn't even need to Dynamax at all. But that means all the gyms are done, dusted, and out the way, and we have built an incredible team along the way that counters most flying type weaknesses, and our little cheating girlfriend here says it all. But we aren't done just yet. Because at the end of the road for gym challenge seasons, there's the semi-finals to compete in, but even before that is the Harsh Route 10. Basically this region's victory road, and it's even tougher with ice types, something that a lot of my flying friends struggle with. But we're strong enough to take care of the majority of trainers that were awaiting our presence. But once they were out the way, it's time to make haste to the city that's based on my own capital, Wyndon. There's so many features that look exactly like London, and I have to say they did a cracking job of it. But no point dilly-daddling because I have a Champions League to compete in and complete. Starting with Marnie in the semi-finals and her team of dark types, her cat against my Doc. And whilst I don't appreciate the Snarl attack drop, a few brick breaks, well, break through her defenses, but also baits out more Peko, which is perfect for a switch into Nico. Spark doing a whopping 7 points of damage, followed by a bite which does more than I like thanks to a crit. But from here, Nico can go all out against her team, taking out the mouse and then the salamander who needs a belt. And then a frog too! This thing is a force to not be messed with. But this left Grimmsnarl who Gigantamaxes, and it's a bit of a risk, but with the swagger boosted attack, I stay in, a T-Bunch doing pretty much all of their health. So when we go down to max Starfall, Blue can come out, retaliate with Iron Head, and give us a pretty easy win. That may be nice, but Raphael overleveled and Frost cannot be used against Hop. And this is who I was worried about. Our rival from the very start, and we're already at a disadvantage. But we move against his sheep, a brick break doing half damage before it sets up Cotton Guard. From there, I opt in for sidekicks, take a body slam, but get paralyzed. Because of this, he heals for free when we get fully parried. This isn't good. I do as much damage as possible before going down, but Blue can come out, take body slams well, and still get paralyzed. And even after the retaliate, we're still doing very little until a lucky crit comes around. This finally takes out his goat. His sea urchin comes out next, so I switch to Nico and take the T-Bolt very well, ready for the huge earthquake. I stay in against the Snorlax, and with us throwing hard throws at each other, we manage to only just get the upper hand and then completely zap his bird. Or not. Well, we would have had him, but he falls, so Pedro picks up the slack, leaving his Inteleon. Because we did again overlevel here, I stay in for a big acrobatics before going down to a huge max geyser, just leaving one healthy bird left, Nigel. I Dynamax also, taking the huge hailstorm before decimating the agent with max overgrowth. That was rough, and closer to comfort than I'd like. but a winner's a win, and we're onwards to the finals the following morning. But before that even happens, Leon goes missing, so with a squadron of birds and a not-so-recruited team of Team Sky under our command, we go on a mission taking out the corrupted Marco Cosmos. Grabbing the key from this poor unfortunate soul, and with the help of peers, we go all GTA shenanigans and raid the Rose Tower, again burning and punching through steelies along the way to the top. Once we did get to the top, Oleana is most displeased and gets in a strop, but I mean, I've got a team of birds. This is their normal height to fly after all. Pedro leads against her Frostlass. Flamethrower puts it on the brink of death as she goes for Icy Wind to try and slow it down, followed by Hex, though she falls quite quickly. But next is a huge threat, her Milotic. So I switch out to Nigel on Surf and take it well, then obliterate her Dragonfish with a Leaf Blade and... Ah, so close! Despite this, all is well and she falls immediately after setting up Aqua Ring. Again, another dangerous counter shows up, Solazzle. But I stay in and eat the Incinerate whilst I vanish to hit a major Phantom Force, taking it to the Shadow Realm. Serena is next, so I U-turn out to blue in order to take the Acrobatics well before Dynamaxing early. This is so I can set my speed up with an Airstream, but it falls in love. Luckily, we somehow fight that, taking it out and leaving her garbage. I mean, literally. It just piles up as it goes big, but with our bulk and typing, Max Rock Falls really don't do anything to us, allowing us to take it out with no huge issue, really. Now then, allow me to complete my flying visit and grab Leon. We have a big match, big boy. The finals are now set, which basically works as the Elite Four in this region, and it is normally 3 trainers. I have a score to settle with you. But this guy is technically the first one, and he's, well, mediocre at best, because Pedro burns Morwell into a crisp, plus do huge damage on his God of War until Psychics get the best of us. But that's all good because Blue can come out and do the exact same tactic against Oleana, set the speed boost with Max Airstream to then absolutely decimate his Unicorn and the Wizard. It was a pretty good battle. But now it's our first real battle in the finals, and I'm so glad it's Nessa because her eyes are just gorgeous. I couldn't care if I lose now, to be honest. I think, however, I should actually rinse her off in especially a Golisopod with blue. It sets up Swords Dance, which is extremely dangerous, but a fly on the second turn activates emergency exit, and Barraskewda is next. Liquidation hurts, but Payback edges out our team just a little more. Plus, Golisopod returns, so we knock him out without breaking a sweat. I don't think I would outspeed Seeking, though she sets up Aqua Ring, though we get the flinch through Iron Head and continued the damaging spree with a fly afterwards, leaving it low. One waterfall later, and we remain on 10 HP, just about taking it out. Her bird appears and does tank our attack, meaning Blue finally rests his wings. But now Nico can come out, hit a quad effective Thunder Punch, and retaliates, ready for her Ace Dreadnought, this time in its Gigantamax form. I continue to hit hard with a T-Punch, get it down to half, take a Max Darkness fairly well, and one more punch gives us the win. Nice. Next was Alistair and his Ghost types, and this one I'm a little more nervous about. Dusknoir is first against our Ghost Owl, and we vanish with Phantom Force, doing huge damage as it goes for... Wait, Rock Tomb? Well, okay. Thankfully, we still outspeed and swiftly take it down with very little trouble. However, up next is Chandelier, and I can switch out to Pedro for free on Will-O-Wisp, ready to hit hard acrobatics, taking a Shadow Ball as we go. The light goes back to the Shadow Realm, and Cursula comes out. We manage to hit the Flamethrower well, and get the burn in addition, but an Ancient Power, well, strikes us out. But this means Nigel is clear to come back out and a huge Phantom Force against the rest of his squad. So the Dead Coral dies again, his spooky teapot gets shattered to a million pieces. This leaves Gengar, and I'm about to overlevel. So I waste the Dynamax turns and let him outspeed with G-Max Terror. With that risk out the way, Nico comes out and also Dynamaxes, taking Max Ooze well, followed by hitting a hard Max Quake and giving us the win. That fight wasn't as bad as I thought, but what I really was afraid was Raihan and his Weather team, plus dragons. I know this fight is going to be rough, and I wasn't really sure my team were going to be cut out for this one, but need I jest, with the hostile ability, Nico leads against Torkoal and Earthquake does huge damage, but it sets a yawn on us, so now I predict a body press and switch to Nigel. I could not have been any more wrong. We managed to eat that before using Phantom Force, just scraping a knockout. But next was Turtonator, and yeah, we do a bit of damage to it, but the Shell Trap was simply too much, and we lose Nigel. Raphael comes out on another Shell Trap for Swords Dance and set my attack again as the sun is again set. This means on turn 3, I can take it out with Brick Break. This baits Gudra, and I need to get him out as he sets the rain, which I thankfully do with a critical Brick Break. Flygon is next, and once more Reinhardt sets up the weather. I use this opportunity to Swords Dance one more time, being able to take physical attacks more before Brick Breaking the Dragonfly, so his house remains. And this is the point where I shouldn't have Swords Danced a third time because I haven't got the health to make another hit. All I can do is hold back. So Jewel just takes a critical max depletion while doing little damage to fall on the next turn. But with his Dynamax turns over, it is Nico's turn to take a huge Declaw, and a boosted Earthquake from Hustle is enough to give us the victory. I'm surprised I didn't even need to Dynamax there, but it's over. We beat in all of the final matches, leaving only Leon left. I approach him with all of my might and all my feathers intact, ready for the grand final showdown. Until Rose uses the ground against us, and now I can't even battle! What is this? I thought flying types were immune to the ground. Absolute shambles. So to investigate, I return to the slumbering world and hunt for the magical dog that was laid to rest. After all, 2 knighted dogs and 2 knighted birds would surely do well in conquering the colossal that has happened in the arena. Right? Well, I guess we're gonna find out, because now it's time to trail this mess back to the creator, and that is indeed Rose. This Prime Minister only uses a team of Steelies, something that Pedro is able to absolutely destroy. I pretty much Dynamax after using Agility to set the sun, somehow in a huge lab, and burn every single mon to a crisp. His team was honestly just as weak as the government's party. What isn't weak though is the legendary Pokemon he has reawakened or created, no one really knows, called Eternatus. It even injured Leon and his Charizard, but my noble Knights of the Flock will be able to decimate this monstrosity, as well as the help of the legendary dogs and, well, Hop. He isn't a knight, so we'll just forget about him. The region was saved, he was imprisoned in a Pokeball, never to be released, like a genie in a lamp, and everything was safe in the region. There just remained one quest. And that was to take on the champion and become king of the flock and strong enough to become a member of Team Sky. This is the final battle of the run, so last guesses if you think we can beat him. But for now, this is it. Aegislash is the first opponent against Nigel, mainly for Phantom Force. We somehow outspeed, meaning on the next turn, it's an easy lead for us. But this baits out the other Galarian starter, Cinderace. So I make the switch to Nico, dodge the Pyro Ball, though take the second one rather comfortably, and then Earthquake him out of the stadium. Haxorus comes out, and unfortunately Outrage is just too strong to take. But I send out Jewel, just about take a second one, and hit hard with Ice Beam. Plus get the 10% freeze, which is huge. So he falls, and then the Dragapult follows to instantly grab Quick Revenge with a T-Bolt. This gives me the opportunity to use Blue, take another T-Bolt well-ish, and hit a hard payback. We barely hold on after a Flamethrower, but we live on and take down the Ghost Frog Dragon thing. This means when Seismitoad hits the field, I can hit one more fly before getting hit hard and taken down. Nigel comes back for a quick Leaf Blade, which is quite effective, and he falls. Charizard remains, and Gigantamaxes, and I have to stall out here. He powers up one Max Airstream, and it's not enough. This is not good at all. So Pedro comes out to Max Guard against the Max Rockfall, and doesn't outspeed the Charizard. Another Rockfall, and we just survive. So I hit one huge Airstream, which doesn't do a lot, but once the Dynamax turns end, we now outspeed, and another one was too close for the kill. Despite this, and the fact that Ancient Power wipes us out, his own Charizard falls to his very own Sandstorm, meaning we were able to get the win regardless. I have first impression ready, and didn't even need that. Ladies and gentlemen, I became champion of the Galarian region with only birds, and I'm now a proud member of Team Sky. I thank you all very much for watching. Check these videos out for more, and if you haven't done so already, then please make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out any videos. It keeps YouTube happy, and you guys get more videos, which you can change your mind at any point. But for now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.